Hello. Welcome all FPL managers to another FPL Jedi show. It's game week 11 deadline stream. We are here on Friday night. So pretty hectic for me, pretty hectic for everyone. But we are definitely going to run through the team news and quotes by managers. My name is Hafiz and would like to welcome Azmin to the show. How's your feeling, brother?
Hello. So 1.5 hours before the deadline today. So hope you're all feeling it. If you haven't made your transfers, this is your last chance. Let's take a look and see whether there's any latest news and that may affect your team, especially considering next game week is a blank game week 12 where the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City will not be in action.
Yep, a lot of permutation, a lot of thinking that we need to do. So it's crucial these team news because as we all run through on the midweek, this is where the planning starts, especially when we want to navigate blank game week 12. So and another thing that excites me this week, man, is another big match between Liverpool versus Man City. People are thinking after Liverpool 7-1 thrashing against Rangers in midweek. Salah performed after coming off the bench. Firmino is there. Darwin is there. Jota also providing assists. So a lot of things are happening in terms of Liverpool assets. What do you think, in terms of Liverpool now?
It's still a it's still it's still an uphill battle for Liverpool, to be honest. You got Manchester City who are just steamrolling the opposition at the moment. I think TAA being injured might be a good thing because it forces Liverpool to rejig its tactics and they may have to strengthen a bit more defensively. They may be forced into it, which could be a good thing. So let's see when we look at the news later.
All right, let's jump straight into game week 11 fixture, man. Let's run through it. It will be early kickoff tonight for game week 11 where Brentford will face Brighton at home. So tonight at 3 a.m., if let's say we are prepared enough or we have enough sleep, then we can wake up and see this match, especially people who have Tony or the likes of Brighton assets. We then have on Saturday Leicester versus Crystal Palace kickoff at 7:30 p.m. And then Fulham versus Bournemouth and Wolves, who really needs win. Also on the other side, Forest also need that win. The battle of the bottom league, Wolves versus Forest. And then at 12:30 a.m. Saturday midnight, Spurs versus Everton. Spurs on roll right now, especially midweek win in Champions League, and Everton need to bounce back from their 1-2 defeat against United last weekend. And then we have Villa versus Chelsea on Sunday, Leeds versus Arsenal. Arsenal on form right now, on top of the table. Then we have Manchester United versus Newcastle. I think this is another good battle between those clubs. Newcastle are also in a good form, and Manchester United has come back from their 6-3 defeat against Man City before this. Then we have Southampton versus West Ham. And then we close off game week 11 with Liverpool versus Man City, as we have talked just now. There's some crucial news that we want to gather. We heard about Trent. We also want to know what is happening with Reece James, whether he will play. I also want to know about Mitrovic situation. We will also want to know about Liverpool and Man City news. So there's a lot to cover, man. Okay. So let's jump straight first with Brentford versus Brighton, man. What is happening between two clubs? Are you on mute?
Okay, so no real changes to both clubs in terms of any serious changes to the squad. Of course, for Brighton, there's pretty much everyone is there. No issues. Everyone seems to be ready. On the Brentford side, so we do know that previously Jansen was injured, and I think he will still be out as well. His hamstring injury. And other than that mentioned there, yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of who plays. So there is some discussion about how he rejigs his formation depending on who he plays. Yeah, but that's not really going to affect us, is it, in terms of FPL? For Brentford, it's still all about Tony, but he has not been having a good run of late. So, but it's inevitable, and if you have held him for so long, you might as well keep him against Brighton. Having said that, Brighton are coming off a 1-0 defeat against Spurs, but it's not indicative, is it? It's just a Spurs being a strong team, and the fact that they only managed to defeat Brighton 1-0, only scored one goal, shows that Brighton are still strong. So no issues there. So yeah, that's it.
Yep, I think both teams will be able to play their strongest team. Maybe just a bit of unsure about the Brentford backline. If they say Thomas Frank feels there's a lot of individual mistake that they did against
Hmm.
Newcastle last week. Maybe Pinnock, maybe me, maybe Edger. We are not sure, but we more or less know both teams will feel almost the same lineup as before. So that's for Brentford and Brighton. We go to the next match, main, which is Leicester versus Crystal Palace. We know a lot of managers having Madison or Zaha on the other side. So what's the latest news for both teams?
Okay. Firstly, you have to put things into context. I don't know if you guys noticed that Leicester is now below Forest.
Okay.
Yeah, they're no longer on the same points. Forest actually has one more point than Leicester, so it's looking really bad for Leicester now. Uh, so there's a question with Evans as to whether or not he will be ready. It looks like he may not be, and of course, if you look at the predicted lineup, so because Daka has been on decent form, so he may play instead of Vardy. So it's a good question. Vardy himself has not yet scored this season for the Premier
Okay.
League. So that's the concern there. So, but the likes of Barnes, Madison, your fantasy picks, Ward, they all should play, and even Justin. I'm seeing some Justins in lineups after the double whammy of TAA and Reece James. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and even Neco Williams, because from with the news that he after he lost his place to Aurier last week. Okay, so on the Palace side, nothing new as well. Just as what's mentioned in the tweet, Will Hughes. So it's more of a question of how they will line up. So the predicted lineup has all these Easy and IU. So I guess it was a case between Eduardo and I can't remember who the other guy's
Is
name
it
is.
Mateta?
Mateta, yeah. So it's I don't know if it's I can't see it
Um,
being a given
yeah,
that,
yeah. But I feel Edward will
but
definitely
he
start scoring.
he did score last week, didn't he,
Yep,
Edward?
yep,
So
yep,
yeah,
yep.
but the main man here, is still at Zaha, who's listed as a midfielder, and we talked a bit about Izzy the other day, and I
Yep.
think Izzy could continue to shine. I think he's definitely got potential.
Right. As you mentioned, I just saw again the league table. Leicester is now bottom of the league with 4 points. Then Forest got 5 points. And Brendan Rodgers should feel a bit of pressure to get a win against
Mm,
Crystal Palace. But we all know Palace is a decent team, and this could be really crucial for Brendan
yes.
Rodgers. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it for Leicester versus Crystal Palace. We
Yeah.
expect almost the same lineup. Maybe Evans might miss, so Amati is coming in, partnering with Faiz in centre back partnership. Yep. So
Yeah, Amate is gonna get wasted. He's slow, and if they seek Zaha against him in a more forward position, that's
yeah, I can
he
still
might get.
remember, and Ndidi is still out, right? Last week, he's out and he's not featuring here. If let's say Somare is in there, so it's really, really thin squad right now for Leicester. So we
Yeah.
shall see what's the outcome. It's going to be an open game that I can feel.
Okay.
Next is Fulham versus Bournemouth. We would like to know about Mitrovic news, man. What's the latest news for both teams?
Okay, so apparently Mitrovic returned to training on Friday. That's well, dear Friday. Well, this morning theoretically. Where is it returned to training on Friday? That means it's like if it was Friday morning, that's like a few hours ago, about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours ago, just now. Yeah, so that's the first time in 2 weeks. So I don't know. It doesn't look likely that he will play, or if he does play, he might be on the bench. Now, it does mention that he returned to team training, so not the single injury recovery training. So there is a chance, but it's a long shot. It's still a long shot. Other than that, no other serious issues. Apparently, Harry Wilson is fit again and could be a decent option. But we
Mhm,
of course
mhm.
everyone's gonna holding a former Liverpool player. We're not gonna pick him in just yet, especially with the likes of Mitrovic still injured. Having said that, I was wrong about Pereira last week, thinking without Mitrovic he won't be able to have an impact. He still ended up scoring, although Fulham did end up losing. So yeah, but if you have Andrea Pereira, it's again a dilemma whether or not to stick him into your lineup. And it is possible against because it's against another relegated side, which is Bournemouth. So
Yep.
Bournemouth, no real changes. I think it's pretty much the same first 11 as the previous week. So
Yeah, they did win against Leicester last week,
yeah.
so I'm pretty sure they will feel the same lineup.
So the question now is because it says here Ben Pearson and Joe Rofa have returned for training. Yeah, but they're not going to be considered. Um, the surprisingly Bournemouth are now undefeated for the past 4 games,
Mm.
5 games.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
which
mhm.
is surprising, but yeah, it is the case. They've scored, but they've managed to tighten up, so that's some credit to them. And who knows?
If I say about league table, I'm also surprised. Bournemouth and Fulham is actually in the top 10 right now. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, surprisingly, and you know who they are above?
Okay,
Liverpool.
fair.
So they were both Liverpool, which is sad, but that's the state of affairs as it is. So yeah, so that point I made about being two relegated sides is that still uh something to think about now at this point in with now that we 11 game weeks in. Yeah, so yeah, so hard
Okay.
to call this match, but I'm gonna call Burn if Mitrovic is out. I'm gonna call it for a Bournemouth clean sheet win.
It's fair enough. Also, we need to tread well on Mitrovic. And if let's say it's uncertain that we can say about Mitrovic, whether he plays or not. He might be on the bench, he might start, but we are just really not sure. Like you mentioned, Azmi, it's a long shot. And I won't deter managers if they say they feel it's time to part from the Serbian striker. But we shall see how condition of everyone's squad because it's all different.
Yeah,
If let's say you have a decent bench, you might able to fill your bench if let's say Mitrovic not playing, but it's certainly an option for you this week. So that's the latest news for Mitrovic. And you can see in the Predator lineup, Carlos Vinicius is actually in the Predator lineup, not Mitrovic. Okay. Let's go to the next match, man. It's a crucial match between those two teams. Wolves at 18 place, Forest at 90 place. They really need this win. So what's the latest news for Wolves and Forest?
okay, so the latest news with Wolves is simply the fact that Nunez might make a return. so
Right.
so we don't know if that's the case. He is fitted, but but where the team news is, of course, okay. So the biggest is that Neves returning from one match ban, as mentioned in a tweet. So the likes of Jimenez is still out, and but the but even when Jimenez was fit, they still had problems scoring. So it's Jimenez isn't that talisman that he used to be either. So it's and for the looks of it, it may I think Diego Costa, who started last week, might also still start as per the prediction, but we do not that will help. I don't know. So Forest, they had the moral boosting draw last week. They played the last match of the week, which was against Aston Villa. So there won't be any changes, and of course, the biggest thing is that Dennis started, which
Yep.
we alluded to as a good thing. But Gibbs White is going to be key here in terms of set pieces. With the likes of Wolves starting to buckle under the pressure. Their defensive discipline that they used to have, it seems to be slowly dissipating. So Forest will look at this. They've already had the first boost where they managed to climb above Villa in the table. So now they probably looking, can we do one more? Which is Wolves. They're just 1 point above them. They'll definitely climb if they win.
So
This
what do you think going to happen in this game, man?
Okay, here's another crazy prediction of mine. I'm looking at Forest winning this, maybe 3-0. 3-0
Okay,
even.
all
Because
right.
I just think Wolves are demoralized. They don't have a coach. Nothing seems to be clicking for them at the moment. So yeah, I'm going for a huge 3-0 win by Forest.
Really, really a big call by husband. We shall see this weekend what the result will be between these two teams. Okay.
Yep.
Next one, I think Spurs versus Everton. There also a lot of attention for in the Spurs camp, the like of Kane, even Son. People are thinking whether to bring him in. So, what's the latest news for Spurs and Everton?
Well, because Kulusevski is injured, there's definitely no chance of Son being benched. Richarlison and Son are pretty much a lock-in. So ultimately, it's really a case between the case of Emerson is still injured, isn't he? Emerson is still banned. Sorry. So
Okay, all right.
so that's where the question. Although they didn't miss him in the 1-0 win last week. Yeah, but I guess in terms of picks, I don't know. It was something I was looking at as a defender, but uh, if you see that Doherty and Perisic predicted to start, but I'm just not confident that they'll keep a clean sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to mention to you, I have my eye on this Spurs defender. If I can predict, especially if let's say we can predict Perisic or Doherty to start, because we know they can bombard forward and also produce an attacking output. But in terms of minutes, right, we know we will have game week 12 in midweek, so we're not sure about recovery and whether these two players can play back to back, especially Doherty coming back from injury. So that's a concern, right, Min?
Yeah, it is a concern, and I haven't. I need to just hang on. Let me just check on something.
Okay.
Okay, Spurs play Manchester United the week
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So it's a tough match, another tough match after that.
okay, so on Everton side, it's still Patterson, the key players injured. Or we got Townsend is still injured, Mina, Holgate injured, but those are less in issue because Cody and Tarkowski are pretty much the first pairing. Just another update about DCL. Yeah, forget about it. Don't worry about it until you actually see him. So because Mope is pretty much nailed that open slot, and of course Iwobi,
Yeah.
who is one of the better players this season in terms of the attack. Of course, there's also Gordon, but Gordon is still suspended. He picked up.
This week he's suspended after collecting 5 yellow
Yeah,
cards. Yeah.
so he went over the wall in terms of. I remember you listed the 4 yellow card players, and so he's the first one to go over the wall. Matt, do we look at? Okay, so just now we didn't mention Madison just now, right? Madison is on his 4th at the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Later we touch about on the
okay.
bookings, man. Yep.
Okay. All right. Yes, let's do that. Sorry, jump the
All
gun
right.
then.
I think that's the predicted lineup for Spurs versus Everton. We go to Villa versus Chelsea. We know Potter is capable of rotating almost 70%, 80% of this team. So what has been the managers have been saying in this press conference?
Okay, so apparently, in this one, Cash and Bailey are okay, but Digne is still not ready to go. So Ashley Young will still continue. Now, the problem is that arguably it was a disappointing match last week for Villa. So I don't know how they will rejig the lineup, but one thing we have to in this predicted lineup, you still have Coutinho there, but will he leave because he has been ineffectual? Will he ever not be in the starting lineup? I don't know because he needs to maybe a good time on the bench could do him good, show him that he's not an easy lock-in, because he doesn't seem to be putting effort enough, at least in terms of, tracking back, chasing opponents, harrying the opponents. So that's it. So now the question is on the position of Jacob Ramsey. Okay, so yeah, there was Jacob Ramsey. He's a box-to-box midfielder, and he's capable of scoring goals. So, but of course, he's not as cheap as he used to be. So he's not
Yep,
as
yep.
effective. But it doesn't matter, because they do play against Chelsea, and Chelsea, who, despite rotating like no one's business last week, they still won 3-0. To be fair, it was against the Toothless Wolves. But again, that's against the Toothless Wolves, and then now you got Villa, who couldn't win against Forest. So Chelsea are definitely going to fancy the chances, even without the likes of James. Azpilicueta is going to come in, that's for sure. The likes of Sterling, Aubameyang should return to the starting lineup. And one of the better players of last week, which is Mount, of course. Kante is still out, and so it looks like Reece James might be out for the rest of until the World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
All right.
we
There's a possibility that he'll be out actually for quite
the
some
rest of the
time.
year.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we,
Okay.
we
So
just won't know, right? Okay, but we can say that he's in the state of injury right now, and people need to think of moving
yeah.
him out. That I can tell
Yeah,
you.
and because the problem is that because they have the midweek coming up as well, the likelihood of rotation, Chelsea Potter seems to be living the life. No, not worried. So which is stopping me, because I know Chilwell didn't play last weekend, and he played on Tuesday the Champions League. So he's not predicted to start here, but he could, because
Understand?
because it's a much longer. This match is the first match on Sunday. The Champions League match was on Tuesday, so Chilwell could very well still play. But
Okay.
because of that uncertainty, I was considering Chelsea players for my
Yeah, I understand. I understand. I'm also considering, but I'm not
yeah.
too sure, right? Because when I see this back line, I thought Thiago Silva could be the most secure, but he actually missed the game against Wolves, so nothing is sure. Mm.
I don't know. It's really hard. I mean, I wish I could be sure about Chilwell. I put him in a heartbeat if I knew. But the problem is that he did play in midweek, and he was substituted on the 89 minutes, so that's not in so it didn't make a
Yep.
difference there.
Yep.
So he could play this weekend, but he then might not play in midweek, and I can't afford that at this stage to have
Okay. Fair,
people
fair.
being rotated out. So that's why
We
I'm
need
not.
we need a 90 minutes man, can right?
Yeah,
So
we need a starting player first. so
okay,
so
okay.
I'm not even convinced that
So we
Chilwell will
can
start.
see here Azpilicueta coming in for Reece James, but can he play back to back
I
90
don't
minutes?
know.
I'm not too sure. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know about Aspi. So I'd like to pick him, because I think he's quite a solid player. But is he still good
Yep.
enough to go
It's,
back to back?
it's yeah, it's really dilemma when picking any of these Chelsea asset. The only sitter right now is Kepa that has been playing the full minutes under Potter right now. That we can
And
see.
they play, so after Sunday they play on Wednesday and then Saturday. So it's quite
Yep, yep,
within
yep, yep.
7 days.
Okay, let's go to the next game, which is Leeds versus Arsenal. I do not have any quotes by Arteta, but I'm not sure whether Azmi has find anything. So what's the latest news for both teams?
Right. So Leeds, no changes. The only biggest difference is Sinestra coming back. So which is a big thing. So now this predicted lineup does not have Bamford in it. So it's it's
Because
interesting for
Sinistra
me.
is back from suspension. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
but to
why.
be fair, they haven't been doing too well, so they might need that change. On the Arsenal side, Arsenal are pretty much almost good to go.
I
So
think
there was
so.
yeah. So the good thing is that Jesus didn't play, and um,
Yep. Yep.
so he didn't play on Thursday night, so he should be good to go. Zinchenko, however, is still out, but the likes of Saliba, Gabriel, Ramsdale. So I was seriously considering Saliba and taking that hit of him not playing the week, because I do feel he has a good chance of keeping a clean sheet and possibly even an attacking return. Even
Yep.
though
Yep.
he did play midweek as well, because he seems to be really fit. So I don't think he might be rotated. What was the Bodo? what was the
Yeah.
match they
Bodo
played against?
Glimt. But they managed to win 1-0. So okay,
Yeah,
good stuff.
Bodo Glim. What is that? Never mind. We can not discuss
And
that.
actually, Gabriel also rested in that game. So pretty much
Yeah,
they
he did
have
play.
really.
Yeah. So, but of course, you remember we talked about Saka being the main man, even though Martinelli did perform, but Saka was even better. Yeah, and and it's gonna be better for them. It's funny that Arsenal and Manchester City play this week, and they are likely to still be on first and second. And next week, where they're supposed to be, they take a break. So weird.
Yeah. So we will need to wait this Man City versus Arsenal some other time. So it's not going to happen in something close. It should be in game 12, but it's not going to be. So let's go to the next match. Manchester United versus Newcastle. I don't have any quotes by Ten Hag. So what's the latest news for both teams?
Because it's a Europa match, so we don't have it any yet. I think. So it was just that we want to know whether Martial is fit, and
But I think he's out.
Pardon? Is he
But
out?
I think he's out, right?
Okay. So because if Martial is out, then Ronaldo might still play up top. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'm not I don't think Ronaldo should be there. He should be a super sub or something, and then put Rashford there. And who's the guy?
Sancho, where he has
Sancho.
been.
Yeah. I think Sancho should be the one there. So Rashford in front and Sancho, and then put Ronaldo as a super sub. Reality is, I mean, it's sad to think about it that way, but it is what it is. And I think he'll do better as a super sub because Newcastle are no pushovers. Okay, so no doubt we mentioned earlier that Brentford had a lot of errors that led to Newcastle's goals, but you can't deny Newcastle's confidence is on the up. They feel like at the moment they can beat anyone. And on terms of the injury news, so it's just the key one is that Isaac and Shelby are still out. But other than that, it's pretty much we expect it to be the same team, which is Wilson, Almiron, Jacob. I wonder if this is going to be a going trend where whenever Wilson's injured, Isaac returns to fitness and vice versa. So, but it does make it hard to pick up. But of course, the one of the biggest players, the key player in there, Bruno Guimaraes, who scored a brace last week, he'll be there and he'll be pulling the strings. So, and because of that, I do feel that Newcastle will pick up a win here at the Theatre of Dreams.
Right.
The only thing is that ASM is fit again, but given how well Newcastle performed, I think he'll be great as an impact sub. Scare the crap out the likes of Dalot and maybe Casemiro as well.
Yep. So I quickly have a look at the league table. It's actually between 5th and 6th place better, Manchester United and Newcastle. So they are really high up there. So that's for Manchester United and Newcastle. I'm looking forward to see this match on Sunday. Next one, Southampton versus West Ham. Bowen did score again during the European Conference League in midweek. So they are really on high. So what's latest news for both teams?
So Southampton, no real changes. Pretty much everyone who's there is there. For West Ham, no real changes as well. It's just a question of who's our once upon a time guy, Antonio. So Antonio is definitely is still out. Although he was during the Europa match. Apparently he and Zuma were ill.
Okay.
So don't know if that means that they'll be ready. Of course. And other than that, Skamaka does well as well. So no issue if no issue.
I think he might start again.
I think he'll start again. So Carrier on the right, Cresswell on the left, and but Susek as well. So they're doing well again. The problem is that I was looking at it in terms of picking up Cresswell, but then next week they do play Liverpool. So it's a case of although they definitely can score goals, but they're not going to keep. I doubt they'll keep a clean sheet either. So that's stopped.
Yeah, if let's say West Ham play some other team other than Liverpool, I think their defense can be considered. But it's versus Liverpool away somehow. So that's the deterrence of picking any West Ham asset. So I think that's about it for news. Southampton versus West Ham. We go to the
Yes.
last match.
Yeah.
It's the big match, Liverpool versus Man City. What has been Klopp and Pep has been talking about their team?
Not very nice. We still have to figure out who's available for the City game. That's not great. But we do know that Curtis Davies, TAA, and Diaz, those key, and Naby Keita, all who are capable of starting, all are out. Matip as well. He's
I
out
think
as
that's
well.
a big blow also. Matip is out.
Okay, well, to be fair, yeah, Konate does come in and fit, and and Gomez was always going to slot in at right back anyway in the absence of TA. Of course, the good thing is that we saw that Robertson was on the bench in the Champions. He was in the squad in the Champions League match, but he will. So I expect him to start. I think they're going to need him for this match. Yeah, I think. Uh, I think having him around together with Van Dijk is going to help stabilize the defense a bit. The question now is in terms of up top. So we know that Nunes has played 3 matches in a row, I think. Champions League, the last Premier League game, and this one. So I don't know whether he'll be benched. To be fair, the good thing is that Firmino has been in good form this season. So
that's why it's gonna be a close fight if let's say both of them playing. But I feel Firmino is really on form right now, and he should gain to start.
Yeah. He didn't start last week, did he?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think he'll be needed to hopefully harry the Manchester City defense. There's a chart for Diogo Jota to show his worth there as well. But the thing is, at the left side, it is Diogo Jota. I'm not sure there's any real other options there.
We are not sure about Carvalho, right? You're not a fan, right? So Jota should start.
Yeah, I don't think Carvalho's ready. Not against City anyway. They need some experience. So okay, so on the City side, so quite 3 of their key players didn't play midweek. They were pretty much benched, so they all should return. So so Bernardo Silva, Silva is so key to the City lineup, and of course Cancelo. Everyone who's anyone is there. We know that John Stones is out, but and Walker as well. So that's the part I wanted to touch on, which is there is some vulnerability there on the City side, on that left side. I think Akanji isn't anywhere as good. So they probably want to exploit that. However, they're missing Diaz. That's the problem. Who would have liked that situation? Yeah, but still, Andrew Robertson, if he can play, that'd be great. But the challenge with Andrew Robertson is that because he's been fit, he's been out, he's been injured, and he came in as a sub against Rangers. But will he start the next 2 matches, given the midweek is so quick? So that's something we need to figure out. They would be playing against West Ham in midweek, by the way.
Yep. I agree. Okay, so looks like Man City could feel a really strong lineup. Okay, right, and Liverpool need to play with whatever players they have taking into consideration. TAA, Lucia, and Matip will be out, but I feel it's still a strong team. Klopp is still enthusiastic about this match. Pep did mention in press conference he still feel Liverpool is still up there in terms of contention of league title. So I feel it's still a big game between both clubs, and I feel it could still go on in either way. That's what I feel. But although Man City is really on form right now,
Look, if Liverpool lose this one, that's it for Liverpool. They definitely get the league title. So if we manage to win, then they'll be able to drag City back. It's a 6-pointer swing and haul themselves back into contention. Let's not forget the table where we mentioned earlier they're below Liverpool being below Bournemouth and Fulham. So it's also there's also some morale there that they need to sort out.
Yep.
So it's definitely a
At
win.
least
But
the win in midweek 7-1 could actually
yeah,
increase their boost,
that
their
that that
confidence.
that will. But you remember the last time they won a big score against who was that?
Say
Uh,
Bournemouth.
yeah, yeah, and it didn't seem to
Okay, kick.
after out. Yeah,
Kick
it
start.
didn't seem to reflect a big improvement after that either.
Okay. I think we covered the team news. Let's go the top transfer in for game week 11, man. What's the traffic right now? Would you be surprised? I'm saying Foden is the most transferred in for this week.
Yeah,
551,000 media has bring him in despite he's going to blank the other week. So people don't care. They're looking at, okay, Foden can score big against Liverpool, so bring him in. So that's, I don't know, that's what I read from this transfer. Second one, Trossard, I believe, as preparation for game week 12, Brighton have decent fixture against Brentford this week, and then Forest at home next week. So that's the case. Trippier could come in for whoever manager that still doesn't have him, because TAA and James are out right now. And after Cancelo, Trippier is the most reliable or high scoring defender after Cancelo. Cancelo, whoever doesn't have Cancelo, bring him this week, despite blanking next week. So, okay. And then Martinelli. So, these are transfer made by managers, a peculiar one, but in terms of form, yeah, we cannot deny on that. On transfer out this week, as you mentioned, the players that has been declared injured, Luis Diaz, TA, and James, is the top three transfer out for this week. And then Salah, because people are not believing anymore about Salah capability and bringing the likes of maybe Son or KDB, I don't know. And then Mitrovic, because uncertainty of injury, so he's out number on at fifth place with 289,000. Say is his time is up. So what do you think about this traffic, man?
yeah. It goes to show that three out of the top five transfers are all players who will not play in game week 12. So it just tells you that either they have good squads, that they have a good plan for game week 12, or they just know the points are gonna haul, and which is an indictment for Liverpool, especially because Foden and Cancelo are playing against Liverpool, is not stopping them from bringing them in anyway. And that's mirrored in the top transfers out, where the one player who's not injured but is on the list is Mohamed Salah. Sad, but you know what? This being fantasy football, I think this could very well be the match where Salah returns back to the league in form and in style.
Okay.
And yeah, he has a chance here to you know drag Liverpool back into the title race. This is the week to do it.
I really hope so, because I have Salah. You do not have. You have KDB. So people are not moving KDB out for Salah this week. That's for sure. I won't suggest that.
No,
You should keep him against Liverpool. Okay. And then you can think of, let's say, Salah rather perform this game 11, that you can bring him for game week 12. Okay.
it's really about those who have Salah. I'd hold on to him this week.
Looks like it. All right. Let's go to the bookings or suspension. Just mentioned, I think Azmi already touched some of here. Returning is Luis Sinistra and Ruben Neves for suspension, so they are available this week. Who for players who still on ban, Emerson Royal 2 match, Kaloba 2 match, and then Nathan Collins is serving the last match, and then Anthony Gordon, you mentioned he will not be available against Spurs this week, and then Scott McTominay, maybe he's not a high flyer player, but he's actually suspended for this game, so he's going to make sure that Casemiro is going to play this game. And then in terms of suspension type rope, Jesus survived again, yeah, on 4 yellow cards. Okay, but the new entrance on 4 yellow cards, like as we mentioned, Madison, people are concerned about him right now, and will I say he got another yellow card against Palace this week? It means he will not play in game return. People will start panicking. That I can tell you, because a lot of managers are going to think about bringing Madison. And then the rest is not so much, man. So these are the two player. Gordon is no more in the list because he already got that fifth yellow card. So what you can make from this list, man?
Yeah, so Jesus, Yeah, if you have him, because he did play against Liverpool, he didn't score, but he did get an assist. If you have him, of course you keep him. But if you don't have him, now's definitely not the time to bring him in because it's a waste. Following the next week where he blanks, and but other than that, yeah, it's pretty much you not no real risk there. In terms of picks, as you mentioned, Madison is the only real normal option. But I think it's a serious issue there with Madison if he's suspended. Yeah. The thing is, Leicester play against Palace, which is a tough one. So I'm not confident about bringing Madison in for this week.
All right. Okay, fair. That's the bookings list. I think we go to my team first before we go to question. Okay, this is what I'm thinking right now, man. So for my team, we have like 1 hour, is it, before deadline. I'm still really thinking what need to do to my team.
Okay,
As you all know, okay, TA is in my team, and I for now has replaced him with Dunk.
Dunk.
Okay, because thinking about he has Brentford this week, he could produce something, and then Forest at home. But there is two players I'm still thinking, man. Maybe we can debate on that. Okay, in terms of the right replacement for TA. I do not have James, which is at least it's not another headache for me because I know certain managers have these two players, so they need to deal with these two players. Okay, for me it's Dunk. TAA. So I replace with Dunk, but the other two players that I'm still thinking is one of the Chelsea player. If I can predict which one, Cucurella could be someone who I'm thinking. He also on set pieces. If they say James are not around, and if they say Chilwell is not playing, so that's what I'm thinking. But in terms of minutes, we just not sure, right? Could be the maybe he missed the match, so
Okay.
that's a concern. The
Well,
other
well
one, I want, yeah.
no, no, just for set pieces for Chelsea, then Mount will take most of it then.
Yeah. Most bound, but maybe slightly a bit from maybe left corner, corner maybe he takes, but Mount should have the most of that set pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chelsea could actually keep clean sheet in these two games. When thinking about game week 12 also, so
Yeah.
both are playing away, Villa and Brentford. So that's another thing. In terms of minutes, we are not sure. The other thinking is on the Spurs asset. I'm thinking whether I want to bring in, say, Perisic, which have high upside, but in terms of minutes, we are not sure. We know against Everton at home, they have a chance right now because Anthony Gordon is suspended. So that's less likely attacking from Everton's side. But I think in terms of most minutes from Spurs, it's actually Eric Dyer. I've seen his stats in terms of minutes. He has
Mm.
been playing most of the minutes, if not all of the minutes. And Dyer has been the pivotal figure for
Yeah.
Spurs. I can really sure in terms of his minute against Everton at home and then away to Manchester United, who you just never know. Maybe Spurs can keep clean sheet against Manchester United and just park the bus.
Okay.
So, what do you think, man? Dyer, Cucurella?
Yeah, the Dunk part was a really it's a decent pick because I've been a fan of Dunk over the years. So he does have a set piece threat as well. It's just that at this point, I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet against Brentford, but Dunk's potential for attacking is enough for you. I see, why you want to put him in. Because the other problem is Mitrovic. We don't know he's fit or not, isn't it?
So, into my team, say Mitrovic is not playing, then Andreas will come in. So,
So you
that's
just leave
what
that be lah. Okay.
So I will just
So,
use one transfer for this week and save two transfer for game week 12. You just never know. Say Madison out in game week 12, I can deal with him or
yeah.
some other things. I will play Cancelo. I will play Trippier despite against Manchester United. People might not think
No, of
that
course.
best option, but I will play him over Gal or any other players. And then I have Salah. Looks like I'm going to keep him because he actually scored a hat trick in midweek. So I hope he has some form coming into this Man City game. And then
Yeah.
after that, game week 12 against West Ham, you never
Yep.
know. He could potentially, although I did not mention about him in midweek, could be the captaincy choice right now if let's say he perform. Madison, Martinelli, and Zaha will play. Solanke against Fulham, like you mentioned, Bournemouth could have decent result against Fulham. And then Mitrovic, you just roll the dice and Haaland as my captain this week. So I will use only one transfer, bring two transfer in next week. Just I need to decide. Dang, Dyer, Cucurella, I don't know. What do you think? Is Dang the right choice or Dyer?
Dunk. I go Dunk. Cucurella, I'm just worried of his rotation dangers. Dunk is not going to be rotated. He's pretty much set there. But just a quick mention of Trippier. Yeah, so yeah, Trippier is should be ever present in everyone's first 11 if you have him. And look, he's scored quite a few points already, but he's actually only ever scored one goal so far. But you remember who that one goal was against? It
Man
was
City.
Manchester City. So yeah, so no problems keeping him against the red side of Manchester. So definitely not an issue. But in the end, I'm envious at the fact that you can keep two transfers. It's something I wanted to do at game week 11, except I got stopped by double injuries. You don't have that problem with James, so it's just TAA. Plus, you have a extra transfer anyway, so that will help. So yeah, I think you're definitely better off than me going into game week 12.
All right, that's my team in. How about your team?
All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so for my team, I've made one transfer. I'm not sure whether or not I want to make a second one. So I'm going balls to the wall with this one. I figured there's no real good replacement, so I've plunked in
Ooh.
Andrew Robertson there against City. So I
Right,
figure he's not
right,
going to
right. I
get a
like
clean
that.
sheet, but I like the chances of him scoring. Well, with Walker out, I think Liverpool have a chance to exploit that. So that's my team at the moment. I've just made one transfer, so it's quite bad though. So I've accepted the fact that Nico Williams will not start this week, but he has a good chance of starting midweek. Having said that, I've looked at most of the defender options, and I just can't find anyone who I feel is a good enough transfer to take a negative hit for. Originally I wanted Dunk, but for a hit, I don't think it's gonna be much difference.
Okay,
So
fair.
that's it. Okay, so everyone else is got it's just a case of whether to play Ward-Prowse Andreas. I made that decision around last week. I put Ward-Prowse instead Andreas, but this week I'm still sticking. I think I'm still sticking to Ward-Prowse.
Yep.
Then you've got KDB, Martinelli, Foden, Watkins, Tony Haaland, and I've decided this week I just can't go with the flow. I've stuck sticking my captaincy on KDB.
Whew.
Yeah.
You're the man. You're really ballsy in terms of this.
No, I got nothing to lose. So no problem.
Okay,
I
I just suggest something. I don't know whether
Sure.
whether whether do you think Andreas could be a better choice for you to play over Watkins? What do you think?
Over Watkins, yeah.
Yeah, Watkins against Chelsea. You just never know, right? Chelsea could really a decent side, and
Yeah.
Andreas against Bournemouth, who might score. Andreas has proved me wrong last week, so maybe.
Okay, let's try that. Let me have a feel for it. I'm going to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
stick
We
it
still
in.
have 1 hour or
Yeah.
something like that to have a feel. Yeah.
Is it 1 hour? Yeah, about 1 hour. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So other than that, yeah, that's it. I'm pretty much set to go, and
All
I
right.
don't. I already thought of taking a hit to replace Williams, but I think I'm gonna leave it. I think Williams will come in as a sub because Aurier isn't gonna play 90 minutes,
Yep, I
but
agree.
yeah, he might get enough, and also it also has a good chance of starting midweek.
Okay, let's go to the question, man. Rakan FPL. How are you, sir? Son or kin? Was simple question, but is it easy to answer?
Sun this week, Sun.
Okay, Azmin did choose Sun. I think Sun proved in midweek he did score, right?
Yep.
He can be more explosive than Kane, but in terms of consistency, right now Kane has been delivering every week in, week
True.
out. So Kane has penalty. So in simple answer, Kane, but Azmin choose Sun. I think both are good option. Let's go to the next one, which is a more trickier question, man. KDB to Sun this week. Good move? I think
No,
it's a
no,
tough one.
I don't know why you'd want to sell KDB because I mean it's just Liverpool. Look between the because you're talking about which side of Merseyside are worse at the moment, and it's the red side that's worse, not the blue side, whose son will be facing Everton. In fact, Everton's defense is much more better than Liverpool's at the moment, and it's embarrassing to admit that as a Liverpool supporter, but it is what it is. In fact, if I were to look at Liverpool have allowed 12 goals and Everton have allowed 9, so not that
Okay.
big a difference, but it's big enough. So
Correct.
keep KDB.
I think I agree with Azmin. If I have KDB this week, definitely I will not move to Sun. I will keep him another week. If let's say you have 4 players, maybe you think to change someone else next week. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next question. For game week 11 and 12, they're thinking about 2 weeks. I mean, is it Webster or Doherty if let's say he wants to bring him to replace Sete or James this week? Which one is better, man?
Webster. I'm just not sold on Doherty starting both matches. I'm not sure he's fit enough for that. But Webster is. He has a
Okay,
good chance.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Webster or Dang is a good pick over Doherty. Over Perisic, if let's say you want to say, because in Perisic we are just not sure. But if let's say you just want to think of 1 week about Perisic potential haul, maybe you can go, but we are talking about 2 weeks, right? So Webster is definitely a better choice.
Yeah. If you were to ask me Doherty and Perisic, Perisic would be better.
Okay. Trossard scored in both games versus Brentford in the league last season. Wow, you really keep on this step. Good, Arakan. Can he do it again
Thanks.
this week?
Oh, yeah, he can. I have a sneaky suspicion that Welbeck will finally open his account this week. Yeah, but Trossard, even though he blanked last week, it was against Spurs. Yeah, I think he's definitely stepped up a gear this season. So yeah, Trossard, he can.
All right. I feel so. Next question: could Madison get his 5th yellow card this game week against Crystal Palace? He could be. So if he is, we need to prepare for next week blank, where he will also not play if let's say got yellow card. So there is always potential, right? I mean, we just won't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of Crystal Palace in the midfield and defense, whether they're capable of rubbing Madison the wrong way. Yeah, because obviously you got the fragile Zaha on the other side, but yeah, I think if Zaha and Madison get into a bust up, it'd be interesting to watch.
Oh,
But no, I it's hard to answer this one, Rakai Pial, and it might be out of frustration. If Crystal Palace are losing, Madison might get a yellow card out of frustration. That's about it. If Crystal Palace are winning, sorry.
Next question from Hizami. Hi, good evening, mate. James Justin, is it a good move this week replacing Emerson? Oh, Emerson is not. You are not sure about
Spurs,
his
right?
meaning, but James Justin is much stable.
Yeah. No. I'm just not happy with Leicester's defense at the moment. I definitely don't think they'll keep a clean sheet against Palace. Zaha will, Zaha's definitely going to score this weekend. I think that's a given. Yeah, Zaha could explode this week.
Yep. So if I might suggest, Izami, I think 2 players that people are looking at is actually to bring in whether Brighton like Dang or Webster, or the other one Crystal Palace, who actually some decent match in game week 12 also against Wolves at home. So Gyle or Anderson could be another option. But it's also depending on your budget. but they are still in 4.5, 4.6 bracket. So that's what I'm suggesting. Okay. Next question. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Oh, okay, right. Thank you, Zami.
Thanks.
And then I'm selling Jesus and Son in game week 12. Oh, you are thinking about that. Planning to get Salah or Solar and Mitrovic or Mount to Tony. Jesus and Son he's selling. What do you think,
Oh,
man?
yeah. Yeah, well, in game week 12, yeah, sure. Definitely sell Jesus. Spurs, well, Spurs play Newcastle, so yeah, I can see why you would want to sell them because Newcastle aren't going to make it easy. So let's say assuming you do sell Jesus and Son, Mount and Tony will leave you with a lot of money, wouldn't it? I think, yeah, it looks, yeah, with Jesus' Son, and then you buy Mount. Salah slash Mitrovic. Oh, no, that's not it. Yeah, Salah slash Mitrovic
I
or
means that
Mount slash.
Salah and Mitrovic or Mount and Tony.
Yeah.
But
So
if let's say I see game week 12, I mean,
yeah.
it's actually Chelsea versus Brentford. So I'm not sure whether you want to bring Tony against Chelsea.
Well, Mount versus Tony. That's it, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, the of course the challenge of Chelsea rotating is there, so Tony is gonna get his chances, because the side might be a bit unsettled. But the of course the question with Mitrovic there, well, I guess if he doesn't start this weekend, he'll definitely start midweek. I can't remember who Fulham are playing next week. Who do they play? They play
Aston Villa.
Yeah, this this is tough.
This is still if whether Mitrovic fit or not. So we're not sure.
But okay, on the assumption that Mitrovic is fit, then Salah Mitrovic.
Okay, fair. I like that move.
Yeah, and if you bear in mind, if you're one of those who aren't wildcarding in game week 13, then Salah and Mitrovic are better, given Mitrovic will face Leeds and Liverpool will face Forest. So that's something. On the other side, you got Chelsea. Mount will face Manchester United, and Brentford will face the Aston Villa. So not as attractive as the Salah Mitrovic one.
Okay, we got final question from Ed Boss.
Ed Boss.
Play or bench. Okay, which one you gonna play? Anderson, Ben Me, or Bailey this week, man?
Anderson, play.
Anderson, Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Ben Me, Brentford versus Brighton. Bailey, Villa versus Chelsea. I think Anderson. I feel Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson.
All right, guys. Thank you for the question. Our deadline stream is finally over, but we still have like half an hour to think of our transfer. So we have still time. So hopefully you can finalize your team. Azmin, your last word.
I'm starting to buckle in terms of picking up Zaha. Oh, let's see how we go. I might end up with Zaha at some point. It's just a question for who. Zaha looks good for me.
All right, good stuff. Thank you guys for joining. Hopefully you finalize your transfer before 1:30 a.m. For game week 11, and hopefully we see again you on game week 12 next week. Until then, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.